So I've been stuck in the house a lot more this week because my daughter and I were both sick. She's back to school today, but I've still got a throat infection, although I think it's starting to clear up, so if my voice sounds weird, that's why. So whenever I'm in the house, I kind of use it as an opportunity to bake, and I decided to make some brownies because it's like the one dessert that everybody seems to like. And it's like a slower sort of recipe, like it takes longer to make this one. I got it from my Midnight Chicken cookery book, which I love, and it's just filled with like comfort foods. I actually saw a new book in the library the other day by the same author, and I really want to get it as well. I did that thing though where, I don't know if this ever happens to anyone else, I went and looked at the book for a second, and then my daughter came to get me because she needed something, and I went back to get it to take home with me, and someone had like already got it. I just think like, what are the chances of that happening in like 30 seconds, but hopefully they enjoy it too. But yeah, I might actually just order a copy of it because I've used this book so much. It's like covered in like chocolate stains and stuff, which I always think is kind of a good sign with a cookery book, that it's been well loved and used. And whenever we're stuck in the house, for some reason I find it way less like depressing whenever it's a bright day and you can just let loads of light in the windows, and just like lighting a candle and having music playing and stuff just makes the atmosphere cozy. And in a way it was kind of nice to be forced to slow down again, because I kind of got swept up into the whole school running about thing again, which is probably why we ended up sick. But it just kind of gives you more time to reflect and to do things with your kids that you wouldn't really have time to do otherwise. Does anyone else have the tendency to kind of fall into the trap of scheduling something in every minute? Because I feel like we do that without necessarily meaning to, but once you start like running around during the week with a school run, it sort of makes sense to keep running at the weekend. But I think sometimes you just need a day in the house, like even if it just sounds boring and you have places you want to go to and like things you want to do. We're going away on holiday next week for 3 nights, but it's like in Northern Ireland, but on the north coast. So I kind of want to have like a slowish holiday. We'll be near the sea and it'll just be nice to have a change of scenery. But yeah, I just want to have more kind of like downtime and time like to be present with the girls and just like chat to them and stuff, because sometimes it feels like we're just running around and don't have time to have like long conversations, although we do spend like all of our time together. And do you have any recipes that are like your go-to recipes? I kind of tend to make the same things over and over again. I don't know if everyone does that. I do like to experiment whenever I have more time. I would make like pancakes a lot, brownies, and crepes, and like a lemon drizzle cake that we like. There's another orange cake that I make sometimes, or like a chocolate one. But yeah, my daughter also has this coconut cake that I make sometimes that she loves. For some reason, I always get really excited whenever it's nearly Pancake Tuesday. I don't know why, because we have pancakes all the time anyway, but I just think it's like a cool holiday that like just a day for pancakes, and you can have them for dinner if you want. And I like seeing all of the ingredients, like the toppings and stuff in the shop. Although one of my kids really hates pancakes, so I always have to find something different for her on those days. And I made my first like cookery reel yesterday. I made some banana pancakes because I'd wanted to make the ones that I always make, but we didn't have any eggs left, so I experimented with that. And yeah, this is just the batter from the brownies before it went in the oven. My kids always want to eat it at this point, but yeah, like they refuse to eat brownies with nuts in them, and I actually really like it with nuts, so I've kind of had to just leave them out and use chocolate buttons instead. But I always feel like it's kind of lacking something when it doesn't have nuts in it. Maybe it's just me. Do you ever write down things that you want to happen in your life? Because I was watching a video about this yesterday, and about how something like 80% of the things that we write on paper actually end up happening in real life. And I have journals that I can look back over, and I see that the things have actually materialized. So I kind of want to get back in the habit of doing that when I'm journaling. Sometimes it's really uncanny how close to what you've written the thing actually is whenever it appears in front of you. After baking, I just made myself a peppermint latte. I feel like I can't go for a day without one now. It's sort of a bad addiction to have, but at least I know how to recreate them at home for whenever I'm not in a coffee shop. And my daughter requested a smoothie then as well, so I ended up making one of those too. And my daughter was just talking to me in the background, so I wasn't just like randomly talking to myself, although I have been guilty of doing that. And it kind of feels like I am sometimes when I'm recording like voiceovers and stuff for these videos, but I know that I'm actually talking to all of you. My kids aren't great about eating like fruit and vegetables unless it's specific kinds, usually the expensive ones like berries and stuff. But I can always kind of rely on them drinking smoothies, which is really good because I can sneak things into it that they don't know about. I just put bananas in this one and frozen berries and then like some apple juice, an apple and raspberry juice. And it's great because I just love this Ninja. Like my mum got it for me as a present years ago, and I have used it so much, and it's still going, thankfully. Yeah, I don't know, I think it's one of those things where I would never have thought to buy it for myself, but it's been so useful. Like I've used it more than any other appliance, really. After that, I finally sat down and joined my daughter in the living room, and I read my magazine and chatted to her and had some coffee, and I was reading the Simple Things magazine, which keeps appearing in the post each month when I've forgotten that I subscribed to it, and it's a nice surprise. It's kind of ironic though, because on the first page it has a list of things to do that month, like suggestions, and the first one was plan a lie-in for yourself, which I found funny because my kids would never allow me to have one of those. So yeah, it's just unachievable, I think, when you've got kids, unless you get one of those weird mornings where they're randomly absorbed in a game and don't realise the time. I think that's happened like twice in their lives, so yeah, I'm not really counting on it. They were up at 6 today and they were all excited because it's the last day of school before the holidays. They've got like a half day, and one has non-uniform and the other has crazy hair day, so they were like so excited about getting ready. Like they probably wanted to get ready before bed last night for it. I often hear people saying that they think magazines are a waste of money, especially when you can read everything online now, but I definitely feel like it's a different experience reading a paper copy. It's just more restful, and I really look forward to it, and I feel like I get so much from reading this magazine that it's worth every penny. Like it just inspires me so much. It puts ideas in my head for baking. I've used recipes out of it before. And it has interesting articles in it about like places in the world that I would never really have thought to look into, or about animals, and it's like they have really poetic descriptions of them. There's also one that I like every time. It's like My Day in Cups of Tea, which is they'll talk to like an artist or a creator or something and interview them about what they drink, like what kinds of tea they drink. And the brownies were ready after that. They always look a bit burnt around the edges, although they don't taste like they are, and I find like if I take it out before this point it never fully sets, and they were still really gooey in the middle. So yeah, we all had one of those later in the day. My daughter and I had like a dance session where I put on a record we used to do this in lockdown a lot, where I basically just trail her around the floor and spin her around, like, and she finds it hilarious. Yeah, and then we had a little drawing session where it was like she picked an object and we both had to draw our own version of it, and then we drew each other as well. And then she was so excited whenever her hair mascara arrived, and she wanted to try out one of them just to see what it looked like.
That's
So
so
yeah,
fancy.
this was for her crazy hair day.
I like
And
it.
then my daughter helped me to make salad.
It looks very
to go with our
appetizing.
dinner. And yeah,
Do you like making salad?
I hope
Bye.
you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.